I wasn't a horse girl growing up, but I wasn't into dragons either until I started playing Flight Rising. So I decided to give Indomita a try. Indomita is a horse simulator. I'm not sure where I initially came across this game, but I feel like it had to be somewhere in relation to Lyoden. They're both simulators, not pet ownership and management games. In a pet game, like Neopets, the player is not a character. The pets are managed much like objects. In a simulator, the user takes the perspective of one of the pets. And in Indomita, the player can toggle which horse they're playing as. In the beginning of March, I made making an Indomita account a high priority. But after I got in, I found the infrastructure very confusing. The welcome email had links to 2 guides, a getting started guide, and an exhaustive guide. Because I like to believe that I learn best by doing, I skimmed the getting started guide and tried to figure out the game mechanics from the game. My first game session probably lasted under 10 minutes. I couldn't figure out what to do. The interface is really ambiguous. So then I signed off for like 3 weeks. I did eventually come back. I didn't want to be the person who tried once and gave up. From my digging since, I think I've gotten a basic understanding of the game elements. The bulk of the gameplay happens in the location center. You can change your location by moving to a different map square. There are different activities you can participate in by clicking on them on the location page. The Interact feature lets your horse develop relationships with other horses. The quest icon takes the player to a multifaceted interface with different actions to develop skill level. You can do quest activities until you run out of AP, which I assume stands for action points or something like that. There are many opportunities to shape your character's stats and personality. I think that's a big draw to this game. There's no perfect character build or combination that's especially wanted. It's very choose your own adventure. I don't find the Indomita illustrations attractive. The virtual pet genre is full of Pokemon-inspired art. Face it, Neopets and Flight Rising have a distinct aesthetic. I'm aware that I have a bias towards black line art, bold colors, and big eyes. But I think I could see past that bias and appreciate other art. I simply don't like this art style. My progenitor is awkward and clunky. The full art looks like something in Uncanny Valley. If everything about the interface was awesome and I didn't like the art, I think I would be able to enjoy playing the game. That's not the case. Back in February, I did some basic game research, and Tumblr user Caldeon described Indomita as an extremely clunky site to the point where a lot of the fun it could have been kinda died then and there. Kudos for putting it into words. That's completely right. From a game design perspective, I think there's a lot to learn here. Like, if the learning curve is too complicated or takes longer than a half an hour to combat, you need to simplify or prepare to have people sign up, log in once, and never come back. My initial reaction to this game is that it's unnecessarily challenging. The burden of discovery and explanation is on the player because the interface design is so underdeveloped. I would really like to see the layout adjusted to differentiate modules and support explanation of how those features influence other parts of gameplay. Right now, I cannot recommend Indomita. I think it's a little bit all over the place. I'm not going to make a commitment to regularly playing it, but I am investigating it further. If you'd like to try it out and compare your experience to mine, there's a registration window through every 1st and 3rd of the month. I'd appreciate it if you put my username, Bonkish, down as your referral. Let me know in the comments what you think of Indomita. If you play regularly and want to set me straight on gameplay mechanics, please enlighten me. The most valuable bit of insight I could get is what a typical gameplay session looks like for a dedicated user. For now, our best bet at a horse breeding game may be Clanheart. Watch my video about this game that's still in pre-alpha, but is very cool nonetheless. Or check out this video about how the game infrastructure on a Popstar dress-up game could be greatly improved. For more gamesite and critique, take your virtual pet-loving hands and click on that subscribe button. Thanks, bye!